This video is what I wish I knew back when I was only making 6 figures per year. It's the things that nobody told me that I had to learn on my own or pay a bunch of money for. And what I want to do is I want to teach you how 7-figure people think. Okay, people who have hit 7 figures and making over $1 million a year, how do we think? Because that's the thing I sort of had to figure out on my own, and nobody ever told me, but I've learned that that's the thing that's actually going to drive the needle forward, because your thoughts help shape your actions, and your actions are what causes you to make more money or less money. And so what got you to, you've heard this before, but what got you to 6 figures is actually the thing that's going to hold you back from 7 figures. So I want to teach you right now how 7-figure earners think, so that you can see where the gaps are. Oh, if they think like this, oh, I'm currently thinking like this. Maybe that's why I'm not making the money I want to be making. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's the first thing that 7-figure business owners do. You start to ruthlessly analyze what's working and what's not. And you cut out whatever's not working. And you actually have the data to track that. Most 6-figure business owners just don't have data to track. They just aren't keeping a good track of how things are working and their numbers and their leads and their conversion rate and their return on ad spend. They're just not tracking that information.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Really analyzing, is what I'm currently doing over here to generate leads, is it actually working? If it's not effective, you need to stop doing it. I coach 6-figure earners to get to 7 figures all the time in my 100K mastermind, right? So I'm constantly reminding them, this isn't working. Why are you doing this? Why are we stuck on stupid over here? This isn't working. Let's cut this. Let's do something else. You need to get better about doing that for yourself. So I was in a mastermind call last Wednesday, and one of the ladies there, she said something, and it was like, she was like, grab your sword and ruthlessly chop it up. It's not working. I was like, man, that's a visual, but it's how we operate. We're like, this is not working. Let's cut it. Especially if you're trying to go from like 1 million to 10 million, then it becomes even more true. Second thing, 7-figure business owners, we've taken a few hard knocks in our business. We've made some mistakes. We've had our egos kind of ripped out of us a little bit. We now know there's a lot that we don't know, right? I'm at the $1 million mark. There's a ton I don't know. And I realize that more and more every single day. When I was making 6 figures, I was really proud of myself. I had accomplished something, right? Something to be proud of. But I kind of thought I was the shit. I kind of thought I knew everything, and I wasn't humble. 7-figure business owners are humble, and they actually have the mind of a beginner. In fact, one of my friends, he said that. I told him, I was like, oh, this event, I'm going to it. It might be a little basic for you. And he's like, oh, I always go to events like this with the mind of a newbie. I'm like, that's so smart. I love that. But that's how we are. And then you never miss the golden nuggets. So stay humble. Keep a beginner's mind. You can always learn something new. Even if you figured out some things, you're not that great. Lovingly, you're not that great. You're not that special. There's a lot more to learn. Same thing goes for me. I'm not that great. I'm not that special. I have a lot to learn too. Another thing that 7-figure business owners do is we are very patient, and we don't need instant gratification. So there's a difference between cutting what's not working and needing instant gratification. I can see that something is working and making incremental progress, but it could be a big gap from where I want it to be. If I saw 0 progress over a 60-day, 90-day, 6-month period, I would cut it. But that doesn't mean I need to get to my end outcome in that frame period, right? So I'm working to hit $10 million in my company. We're working on it, but we know it's going to be some time before we get everything in place. It's just things take time. So I'm patient. I've got that long-term vision. 6-figure business owners still have that remnants, that little residue from when you're a new entrepreneur. When you're a new entrepreneur, you feel the need to make money like this. You're freaking out. You're panicking. You need to make $10,000 in 2 minutes kind of thing. That's the energy. You're frenetic. You're nervous. You're just, oh my God, I need it now. You don't understand patience at all when you're new. You learn a little bit of patience when you've hit 6 figures. You're like, all right, this stuff takes a lot longer than I thought. I'm okay. I can wait. When you hit 7 figures, you're really, really patient. You're like, all right, can breathe a little bit. As a 7-figure business owner, you've gotten really good at delegating. And even more importantly, you've gotten really, really good at delegating the right things. 6-figure business owners, y'all are notorious at either not delegating at all, or you're delegating the wrong things and you have 0 return on investment, right? So again, like I said, I work with 6-figure business owners all the time, and I'm working to get them to 7 figures. It's either y'all are still designing your Canvas slides, or you're paying people $5,000 a month on Instagram growth for 6 months and you've seen nothing. So there's typically one of the problems of six-figure business owners is that you've not learned how to delegate either at all or delegate the right things and monitor your return on investment on that person. And that's where being ruthless comes back in, right? If you brought somebody on and they're not delivering on the results or you're not getting a return on investment, it's time to give them their wings to the next opportunity. Seven-figure business owners, we've gotten really, really good at implementing quickly. So you may or may not have heard the saying, success likes speed, but it's true. The faster you implement something, the more money you make. It's as simple as that. The faster you can implement, the less time you can spend overthinking, the faster you just say, okay, you know what? I don't feel the need to reinvent the wheel. My business coach is saying, do this. I'm just going to implement this system, and you get it done. The faster you'll be able to, frankly, see what doesn't work so you can tweak it and try it again. First go around is more about, at least as a marketer, is more about figuring out what didn't work. And if you procrastinate on that, it just delays everything. So seven-figure business owners were really good at implementing things quickly. Now, what I want to do to make this even easier for you, if you're a six-figure business owner, is I'm going to literally list off probably how you're thinking, and you can kind of tell me, this was relevant, this was relevant, this was relevant. Whatever's not relevant, cool, leave it, no worries. First thing, in the inverse, six-figure business owners don't really know if something's working. They can't really tell because they don't have the proper data. So they kind of keep trying it in the hopes it gets better. And it's just, they go on feeling like, I feel like this is working, or I feel like I should be doing this, but there's no data to back it up. It's a classic six-figure mistake. Second thing, if you're making six figures, y'all clearly know something, right? You figured out how to make $8,000 or more a month. So you feel proud of yourself, and you should feel proud of yourself, rightly so. Making $8,000 a month is awesome. But you probably haven't had your big fail yet. You haven't had your big fall yet. You haven't had your big mistake yet. So you're a little cocky, and it's just something to be careful of. I'm saying this as raise my hand, first one to make this mistake. I thought I knew everything. And when I got one of the best compliments I got from a peer of mine who I really look up to. It's one of my top 10 compliments probably of my life. He said, when you first joined this community, our mastermind community, you were super naive and high energy, and you came across as young and enthusiastic. He's like, but now there's a sense of maturity around you, and you're seasoned. You have wisdom. He didn't mean it comes across maybe a little bit backhanded, you were this way, but now you're better. But it wasn't like that. He was more acknowledging and speaking into words a truth, which is I was naive. I was young. I wasn't experienced. I still am young, but there was a lot of lack of experience because I hadn't experienced my first huge failure and stress point as a business owner. And now that I'm on the other side of it, it's true. I do have wisdom. I do have humility. I do know I'm not that great. Stuff can happen at any time, and it's cool. You learn how to roll with it and you learn from it. But in the moment, man, it teaches you humility. And so you probably haven't experienced that yet, right? All of a sudden, 90% of your revenue is cut and you've got 10 employees that you have to lay off because you can't afford to pay them. That's happened to me. That's been insane. And I've had to learn from that and go through that. It's made me a more seasoned entrepreneur. It's just part of it. Typically, six-figure business owners haven't learned to think long-term, and they can't see beyond a few quarters. So if you're currently thinking, okay, what am I doing from now until the end of the year? That's short-term thinking still. It's better than thinking, okay, oh my God, I got to make a client in the next 2 days, right? Which is how newer entrepreneurs think. But you still want to think longer. What's your 5-year vision for your business? And what are you doing to work towards that 5-10 year? One of my friends, his name's Sharon, he made himself a 50-year, or maybe it was 25. It's either 25-year business, it's a 25-year business plan because he and his business partner actually reached it. 25 years later, they accomplished it. That's thinking a very successful, he's a very, very, very successful business owner. And then finally, fourth and fifthly, whatever, finally, we've talked about this a little bit, delegation. You're probably doing a bad job delegating. So it's just something to be aware of. Either you're not delegating at all because you think you can't afford it, and I've got more videos on how to hire even if you feel like you can't afford it, or you're delegating, you're good at delegating in the sense that you're yes, I understand I have to pay money to make money. I get that. But you delegate and then you don't track your return on investment. So those hires don't make you more money, so you don't scale, which is a big problem too. And then finally, six-figure business owners take forever to implement. Y'all take forever to implement things. If somebody gives you something, a new system, In the 7-figure world, we've got that implemented in a week. In the 6-figure world, you could implement it in 3 months. So that's the gap, right? It's speed of implementation. Now, if this is something that you're interested in, if this is something that feels really relevant to you, if you're like, oh, I'm doing this, this is super helpful to me. We talk about this a lot in my 100K mastermind. So if you're currently making over $5,000 per month in your business and you're serious about scaling it, we take on 1 or 2 students per month. That's it, just because it's so much intimacy on my end. I'm a lot doing it. So we take on 1 or 2 students per month in the 100K mastermind. If this sounds like something you're interested in, just click the link in the description or go to mariawendt.com/apply to get further information on that. If you're a 6-figure business owner, you are serious about scaling to 7 figures, you'll be quick to implement. I'd love to talk more with you. So go to mariawendt.com/apply or click the link in the bio. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.